welcome back to another episode of the Breaking Point podcast hosted by Nero. I'm proud to announce my guest, Dylan Nero Koch. Now, before we begin, I want to thank you, Prize Picks, for making today's show possible. Claim your $50 with your first $5 pick when you sign up using the code Breaking Point. Click the link in the description to join in on the fun for CDL champs. Thank you again, Prize Picks, for making this show possible. Now, Dylan, who have you got to win champs?
Who do I get? I don't know. This is hard because there's actually all the teams that are going champs are actually they're super hot. I would say either Thieves or FaZe. Obviously, those are like the two that I think everyone are going to pick. But I see some upset from either Seattle or Miami. I think they're both playing each other first round actually. Those two.
Yes, I think so.
So whoever wins that, I think, is going to be the dark horse of the tournament.
That's a cop-out answer. Pick one.
It is a cop-out answer.
Dylan, pick one. Who have you got winning?
Honestly, if Seattle come out hot, I see them winning it.
You think Seattle are going to win?
Champs? Or you're talking about...
No, for champs.
Oh, I think Thieves are going to win it.
Thieves, MVP.
Yeah. I want Dan to win. I want Dan to get MVP too, bro.
So, there you have it. LAT winning champs.
I'm a big Dan Ghosty fan.
Yep, so am I. Okay, quick introduction, Dill. Who are you? What do you do?
My name's Dylan Koch, aka Nero. I'm a professional Call of Duty player.
For
G2, aka Rocker.
Yep.
Minnesota Rocker.
So, getting into this. Before you joined your first CDL team, how did you get into Call of Duty? And I'm not talking esports. I'm talking strictly, how did you get into Call of Duty?
From my dad, because honestly, I was more of like a Halo and Gears of War, like a solo game player. Realistically, I really didn't even play much games because I played sports growing up my entire life. For 12, 13 years until freshman of high school. I barely really even gamed, to be honest. But my dad got me in COD, so we played a bunch of Black Ops 1, but I was playing Halo, but he would force me to play because his friends would only play if I played because I would just carry him. So that's how I realistically got in COD.
Fair enough. So let's move it back a little bit. So you mentioned you played sports growing up. A lot of players in the CDL have a competitive background away from esports. You know, Austin or Slasher was in baseball. Paco was into soccer. What was your sport growing up?
I would say my best sport was football, but I also played basketball, soccer, growing up. I won 2 state champs in soccer when I was younger. I actually have the trophies over there. But I was really, I would say, athletic. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be either a pro athlete or a physical therapist. That's what I wanted to do growing up. So
what was your chosen sport? Because you've mentioned quite a few.
I would say football.
American?
Sure. Yeah, American.
Or actual football?
No, American football. Not soccer. not football. Football.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to do growing up because I was like when we were same height. Obviously now it's not realistic. I'm 5'3", but back then we were all the same height. I was the best player. Like on like every team I joined, I was the best player because I was the fastest and I was cornerback and wide receiver, so it was just easy. But that's what I wanted to do growing up.
So then to explain to the non-Americans, what is that position? What does that mean? So
basically you get obviously you have the football, and the quarterback essentially tries to get you the ball. They try to throw it to you, or there's what we call, my favorite play was a jet sweep. So he puts you in motion before the ball even gets like they hike it, and then you run it, and then the cornerback you guard the wide receiver, and then that's on defense. So that's how you like tackle him and try to stop him.
Okay, cool. So then, based on your experiences playing these multiple different sports growing up, did you feel like there was anything that you learned from traditional sports that helped you while you were competing or growing up in esports?
Oh yeah, 100%. It taught me how to be coachable because my dad was my coach, so he always like yelled at me and this and that because he knew like I could achieve good thing or like great things. So he'd always push me harder than other kids, yell at me if I did something wrong, this and that. So it always taught me how to take criticism and like yelling isn't always and like for me yelling isn't bad. Like that's
Yeah.
how I learn personally. I wouldn't say like screaming and all that stuff, but like getting a little louder because that's how I know. First of all, that's how I know you're passionate, and second, that's how like I know you want me to be better.
Mhm. So then, to you, what does it mean to be coachable? And what advice can you give to the players who are watching this in being more coachable?
Um, being coachable to me is actually like implementing what you're getting taught because anyone can say, "Yeah, yeah, I heard you. Yeah, I should have done this. I should have done that." But can you actually take it in a real game state and apply it?
Yeah.
So like you can't do that, you're technically not coachable. Like it's impossible to coach you in that sense if I'm teaching you something and you can't apply it. Yeah, it might take you a couple of turns, that's fine because everybody's different. But as long as you end up learning it, that's the coachable part. But if you never learn and never implement it, then it's impossible.
So, what would you say are some of the best attributes for you when it comes to working with a coach? You've worked with a couple over your careers, which we'll talk about later, but
Mhm.
give the viewers a bit of an idea of what you look for in a coach.
Um, I would say actually take out the time and doing VOD or even like so what Dan does, what I really like, is he actually preps the next day or like before himself, so he knows what he wants to say about the other team. So it's easier for us to understand.
Hmm.
Like dumb it down, essentially.
Keep it
So
stupid simple.
like yes, yes, the KISS method, keep it stupid or keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Essentially, and that's what like I look forward in all coaches in that aspect. Also like VOD too. He's also really good at like VOD leading and understanding the game.
Mhm. So then, what do you look for in a teammate? What do you define as a good teammate? What do you expect from your teammates when you're trying to win?
Yeah, honestly, the perfect teammate is no gas, but all gas to him is Ken. He
Hmm.
honestly is like the perfect teammate because he's good. He knows what he's talking about. He keeps his mistakes like not minimal, but like minimal. But he also like let's say he messes up a hill, like let's say if it's P4, he'd be like, yo boys, that's on me, my bad, don't even look
Yeah.
into it. So like he knows what he did and can accept it himself that he messed up, and for us to watch the VOD and be like, yo, I messed up here, don't do that.
Yeah.
And like so he also keeps himself accountable, but he also keeps like you like me accountable, all everyone else accountable. So like he's like really good in that aspect. That's what I see and want for like future teammates.
Yeah, I think just going back to your earlier points about what makes a player so coachable is we have this saying in coaching, right? The good teams have the coaches who hold players accountable. And
Mm-hmm.
accountability is one of the best attributes of a great player. But the great teams and the best teams have the players holding each other accountable. And the fact that
Yeah,
you said that
100%.
is no surprise to me that Ken is a serial winner, someone who's won
Oh,
over the years.
top 10 all time.
Top 10 all time.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes him so great, and people don't like really. They probably do understand to a certain like extent, but I really didn't until I teamed with him. That's why I know like where all of his success came from and like why he's an all time great.
So then let's go off on a bit of a tangent. Why do you think Ken's performances on the previous Optic team were so different to his performances with you guys?
Um, I think we try to make him comfortable and not default to the hill.
Hmm.
And his problem is he said like I don't want to go to all the
Of
optic
course.
this and that what he told us, but I would say like more like us responding to him and listening gives him more of a game sense of what he should do and make his play comfortable for him.
Hmm.
So like we've been trying to do that to the best of our ability, like not make him default hail, not make him insta block all the time, actually respond and actually give him like
Freedom,
good
right?
comms, like yo, yeah, freedom, essentially, yeah, exactly.
Yep. just trusting the flow in that
Yeah.
sense. And it's to your point, it's something that previous New York teams that we had sometimes maybe say Caesar would default to the hill just to make Dante more comfortable. But we realized in order to have efficiency in the way you play, you need to have four players who are able to do that. Then trust in the flow. So let's move into a different direction. We'll talk about the CDL later on. Now,
Mhm.
for a lot of the viewers who don't necessarily know too much about you and your history, can you explain your path from getting into Call of Duty esports and then your entire career in challenges?
Yeah, so basically, we'll start from where I got. I played a World War II throwback tournament.
Wow.
It was uh, so basically I turned 18 MW 2019.
Hmm.
I think I turned at the very end of the LCQ, so no one wanted to team with me. So I teamed with like Moch, Thresh, and I don't even know the other three because it was 5v5. Um, and then I'm really good friends with Dante, Mac, and Exceed Caden. So they basically, Caden basically hooked me up and put me into a lobby with like Sheen and Lamar and Silly and all them for this World War II throwback eights
Mhm.
thing, and I smoked them. Holy shit! It's on my YouTube channel. They got destroyed.
Damn.
I think I think I started off 31-2 or something like that on a London Dogs hardpoint. And Sheen messaged me. He was like, "Yo, want to play this World War II throwback tournament?" I was like, "Yeah." And so it was me, Lamar, Ken, and Sheen in the World War II throwback tournament, and that's what got me picked up the challengers. Because Sheen was like, "Yo, I want to team with you. Like, I want to team with you. Like, whatever you're going, if you're not getting picked up, we're teaming."
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay." And then he had the LAG Academy spot for Cold War. So it was me, Billy, Exceed, and Sheen, and that's what started off like my actual challengers career.
Yep.
Is I was so I had to move to LA, play challenger from there. Holy shit, that was awful. LA's awful for that. I had to play on cable internet against Nova Scotia host. I'm sure,
On the other side
but
of the US.
yeah, that's where Mohawk live,
Yeah.
bro. I was 130 ping. I was miserable.
So they made you live in a team house even though you're on an academy team. Is that how it
Uh,
worked?
yeah, it wasn't a team house, but it was an apartment. But I shared it with my teammate Exceed. But
Mm.
yeah, they paid for everything. I got paid. I got like a salary, and they paid for my food
Wow.
on an academy team. My contract was 1 page long. It was
it
it
was
was
it
like
was a paragraph.
it was a paragraph. We're gonna pay you this much. We'll pay for your food. We'll pay for your living. Sign here. It's like, all right, bet.
So was that the first time you've ever received a salary in challenges?
Yes, it was because that was my first year. I just turned 18.
Yeah. So
So
what was that reaction like then? How were you feeling in
um
the moment when you first received that?
oh, it was incredible because like it was my dream.
Yeah.
Even if it was just challengers, it was just my dream to even play for like be someone, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but my mom was crying. She was like, "You gotta move to LA. You just turned 18." I was like, "Sorry, mom, I gotta go." But the funniest story was I stayed up for like 30 hours because this was during the beta,
Yeah.
and I got told you will receive a call whenever like don't sign the contract yet, you're gonna receive a call from like the GM like saying, "Yo, we want you,"
Yeah.
this and that. Dude, he didn't call me for 30
Oh
hours.
my
I
god.
stayed up the entire time because I was like, dude, I can't go to sleep. I might miss the call.
So you're glued to your phone, looking at your phone like this for
So
30 hours just waiting.
so well, this was during the beta, so I was
Yeah.
playing the beta. And then like after the 24-hour mark, I was like, dude, he has to call me soon, right? He didn't call me for another like 6 hours. I'm like,
Wow.
bro, what is he doing? Yeah.
So timeline wise for the viewers, when was this? Timeline
This
wise.
was this is during the Cold War beta. I don't know exactly when it was.
Yeah.
Maybe like August or September. I don't know when the beta came out, but or maybe this was the alpha because I know
Because it came
Cold
down
War had
multiple
the
times,
alpha.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Cold War had the alpha and then the beta. I don't know which one it was, but it was one of the two.
One of them. Got you. So this was before the game had dropped
Yeah, this is
anyway.
before the game even dropped. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about your mum real quick. I've met her. Mama Nero, fantastic, wonderful lady, right?
Lovely
So
lady.
what was her support like for you when you're chasing this dream, like growing up? Was she fully on board? Was she skeptical when you talk to a lot of different players? Like, Lamar as an example, for me as an example, parents aren't usually on board fully until they see tangible results, right? Until you're actually doing something. What was her
Yes.
support like going through challenges and then going into LG Academy?
Um, it was basically the same way. I would say most parents. I kind of got lucky though, because my mom, eventually during like I would say BO4, um, that's when like I really like I want to say blew up, but like blew up. Like I started playing with all the pros, and all the pros knew me. Like they want to play S&D with me because I was really good. But that's probably when my mom, I wouldn't say stopped caring, but she was more like, as long as you do your homework, I really don't care what you do anymore. Um, but before that, like when I would game, she was like, get off that game, do your homework, go to sleep. But like that's how all parents are, like for that aspect,
Yeah,
until like you actually do something and move up into the gaming scene, either if that's make money, or like now it's like streaming and you can blow up in streaming. But um after that, she was the most supportive woman on the planet. Like during even like MW 2019, when COVID hit, um I think it happened in March, like at the very end of my high school. She was like, I'll do all of your assignments, son, just try to go
wow,
achieve your dream. I was like, all right,
dude,
bet.
you can't underestimate the support, unwavering support of your family and that sort of stuff. It's
Yeah,
almost like a superpower, right? Every
it
time
does.
you're
It means
playing.
a lot, and it makes you want to do for them.
Yeah,
That's like the most part. It's not even do. Yeah, do it for yourself, but it's like they put all this trust in you. Like you gotta go and do it.
yeah, yeah, 100%. All right, we'll save the emotions till the end of the video
yeah,
because that's
yeah,
getting to me. That is,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
so you're on LG Academy.
Mhm.
We'll bring it back to the fact that you were doing sports. When it came to your team dynamic on LG Academy, and then afterwards in challenges, was there anything that you did in sports that helped you to create like a functional team to help you get along with your teammates?
Um, I would say we just hung up, like hang out a lot. We would go out to dinner. We would So in LAG we had a physical coach. His name's Matt. We called him I think we just called him Mr. Matt or Dr. Matt or whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever we call him. He probably watch if he's watching
I,
this,
I
he
know
knows
who he
what.
is. Yeah,
But he would do like we would go out in the morning. We would do like a little walk because we had like an office, and then our office was in a park, so it was like perfect for like any team bonding and team activities. So we would just walk around, or we would just play horse or something because there was a basketball court literally right behind the office, like the facility.
yeah.
So we would just do stuff like that to like team bond.
Okay, love that. So, what explain to the viewers in the chat? What did you do after LAG Academy?
Um, First of all, I got an agent. Um,
So, okay, pause there. Why did you feel like you needed an agent? What is an
um,
agent to you?
well, agent to me, it was more like I wouldn't say new to the scene, but I was more new to like trying to go pro. And the agent I had contact with was the agent of Mac. And so I felt like he already had all the connections I needed to try to go pro, and like they can message him because like obviously like the coaches would message him like who's like the next up and coming this and that. And if I felt like if I was under him, he would throw my name in the mix.
Yeah,
um that's why I feel like I needed an agent, at least for that aspect.
yeah. I felt the same. So I've got an agent currently. You know Steve.
Yeah,
Was he your agent?
yeah, he was my agent.
Yeah, fantastic person, fantastic
Yep.
agent. I felt the same
Yeah, he
way.
is.
Just having someone in your corner to get these conversations through to franchises, because if you're an aspiring player, some of these you don't even know where to begin. Who do you even talk to? Yeah, you can
Yeah,
talk to a coach, but ultimately you find in the CDL, and we'll talk about this later, they aren't the main decision makers, right?
yeah,
So then understanding with an agent, okay, how much should I get paid? What should I get paid? How can you get me sponsors and that sort of stuff? I think that is having the right agent is fantastic for people in esports,
yes,
especially if you don't know what you're
yeah,
doing.
100%. Yeah, that was the biggest part. I was like, where do I start? Who do I message? Who do I talk to? Like, if I talk to this person, am I burning any bridges by talking
Yeah.
to this guy because another guy that hates him or something? So like, that was the hardest part.
Just getting these conversations through the
Yeah,
dub.
yeah.
You're
And
sending
half, and,
DMs to people and they're just
and half
not replying.
and like half of them, if you're in challengers, like when I was a challenger Cold War, I barely had any followers, so like I can't even message any of these guys. Like they
Yeah.
don't follow me. If I follow them, they don't follow back. So it's like that's the hardest part. I'm not just gonna tweet, "Yo, Slasher, can you message me?"
Yeah.
Like,
Like it's 2013. Yo,
yeah,
Slasher, yo,
at,
DM, check
yo,
DMs.
yeah, check me in at. Yeah, like
That's insane.
that's the hardest part now.
Yeah. So now that you've had a few years under your belt, what is the biggest advice you would give to people watching or aspiring amateurs when it comes to dealing with agents from your experience?
Um, I would say pick the like talk to people and try to pick the right one because that's what my thing was. I think I was talking to three agents and I had to go to different people to actually pick which one they think was the right one for me and like their experiences with agents and who they would like talk to
Yeah.
because different agents have different strengths and weaknesses and also like different connections. I would say I don't even know because I don't even know who the agents are out there anymore. But I would say I know Preston's mom has an agency. I
Yeah.
would say try to look into that. She's a big help. Um, she has a bunch of contacts, even like just an agency itself. I know like what's Steve's agency? Represent.
Represent. Yeah.
I know they're a good one. I would say try to look into like brands like that for agencies.
Got you. Okay, so moving on. What did you do after LAG Academy?
Um, that was honestly probably the hardest part too, because so LAG did offer me like they wanted to extend me for another sub spot, but I felt like I was too good to be a sub.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm sorry, like I'm just gonna take a gamble myself. Like I'm not gonna sign the sub spot. Like I appreciate you like noticing my talent, but I was your sub last year and then you didn't do nothing. You didn't. I guess you guys didn't see my talent enough and want me to put me in the main spot. So I declined that. That was honestly the only offer I had.
Yeah.
I guess I had a Seattle sub spot too, but I didn't want. I didn't really want to take that either because it's a sub spot. I wanted to actually prove myself.
Yeah.
So that's how I got in contact with Steve because Steve was like, "Yo, like I heard that you declined sub spots. Like I'm gonna sign you." So like he heard about the Demon Cats, which was the Washington team at the time. What that was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. And then it turned into Boston Breach. But we had no idea like at the time like who they were actually picking up. At the time it was like Zin, like the roster was supposed to be Zin, Tej, Paul, and Venom.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh well, I guess I go in challengers again and just try to work my way up again. I played with worst roster of all time. I played with Silly, Chance, and O Johnny in challengers for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we were pretty decent. And then Chance was like, nah, screw this, I'm retiring. So we didn't even have a third. But this is when I think Havoc went to Florida.
Yeah.
Or so I joined like the Texas Nation team. So it was me, Kiz, Brezzy, and Jordan General. And that like actually put my name on the spot because they were the best team, like challenger team at the time. So I was like, okay, if I join them, the best challenger team, then I can show these other like people. I can show the org, I can show the Boston Breach team, whatever.
Yeah.
That I got it. And they were watching. Apparently, one day they were watching my stream and said, "Yo, this guy's nice." And then Zen brought me up, so it was just me and Zen, team of two, on Boston Breach, trying to figure out who our other two were.
Yeah. I think I just want to go back in the conversation. I really want to highlight for the people watching, and this goes into any discipline that you want to do. Always bet on yourself.
Oh, 100%.
What you showed was true confidence in your abilities. You're not delusional in the fact, but you're showing true confidence in what you are, your self belief and what you can do. And look how it turned out. It paid off in the
Yeah.
end. right?
Yeah, it
Bet
did.
bet on yourself. It doesn't matter what anyone is saying. It doesn't matter what I say or what people on streams are saying, Twitch is saying. No, focus on yourself and have that self belief and confidence to do anything that you want to do.
Oh, 100%. And I could have even done it for the money too, and I didn't. Like, even as a challenger player, like they don't have salary, they barely make like anything other than prize money.
Yeah,
And obviously it was min. I think it was like 60K. And as a challenger player, I was 18. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money, especially because I didn't have a job. I was in high school. I was like, wow, I actually can support like my mom. Like I can help pay
yeah,
like for her stuff. And I was like, nah, like I actually gotta like if I really want to make it, you gotta better yourself. You have
yeah.
to.
Fantastic mindset. Now, I want to talk about something a bit controversial, and you've seen the clip. Envoy said he believes that there isn't talent in challenges or enough talent coming into challenges. As someone that's been through challenges at, you can argue, the peak, with the most
Mhm.
teams, the most talent, the most skill, what is your take on that?
Mm, I don't want to like degrade challengers, but like I kind of agree to them in a certain extent, only because like ex pros that are dropping out of challengers are going back or out of the pro scene are going in challengers are running it. If there was up and coming like challenger players that were that good, that wouldn't be the case.
Mm.
Obviously, Merch's an anomaly. Merch's actually really good. I would say there's probably one or two players that if you pick up could actually be pretty good to decent. But that's about it. That's why when people say like we need to um like not extend, what's the word for the teams, make like more teams,
Yeah,
uh
extend the league or expand the league.
yeah, expand,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's kind of hard because people don't want to obviously like buy the spot and then like pay for these players and they could be mid, especially like if you had four new teams, like there's that's 16 players. I couldn't even name 16 challenger players that deserve to be in the league.
I have a slightly different opinion though. I think so that for what it's worth, the want to get into the league is there. Like organizations want to get into the league. The
Yeah.
interest is there. So I don't know how true this is. So you don't quote me on this, but apparently it's
Mm-hmm.
Activision who are denying the additional spots. Right? They want to
Mm,
make sure that the
okay.
12 are good because we see changes with the current 12. If we have 16, it's more fuel to the fire, right? So apparently
Yeah,
they're the
yeah.
reason why. But I think if you have more spots, you have more talent in the league, you have more players playing full time. I think naturally that skill, as we've seen over the years, increases, increases, increases. More people playing full time. They're playing full time. They're playing against better players, and it might take a while, a year or two, 2 years, 3 years, but eventually that's how you push the skill ceiling higher,
I see what you're saying.
right? So I agree with you, Dylan. I think in the first, let's say we have 4 new franchises, and that's 16 challenger players. Yeah, sure, okay, it might not work, but then the year after, the year after, the year after, there'll be slight increases and
I
more people playing, more people playing, more
Okay.
people playing, and that's where I view the expansion argument.
Okay. I see I see your mindset like that's actually perfect because my mindset like is if they do it next year, those four teams are going to be by far probably the worst in the league.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying. You're saying it will just help grow the league and to help the players like evolve into like pro skill
Yes.
essentially.
Yep.
I see what you're saying.
And it
And it
takes
also
time.
makes more jobs, more opportunities, and
Yeah.
like I see what you're saying. That would help grow the scene, but I think the Envoy's point, I think he's thinking about next year. I don't think he's thinking about the
Like
future
five
of it.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, because like next year, yeah, if he put 16 challenger players, one team like would probably be good, like because obviously they're probably gonna be ex pros from other teams.
Yeah.
But other than that, like the other teams won't be as good. But I see what you're saying.
Hmm.
That makes total sense. That just changed my. I
Yeah.
blew my mind.
And that's how you get. So let's say hypothetically we look at challenges and we automatically count them out, right? Let's be honest. Very few people were saying that Mercules or Mason was as good as what he is now,
Yeah.
compared to what he is, what people are comparing him right now, right? Potential rookie of the year, all that sort of stuff. People knew he was good, but not this good.
Yeah.
Now, think about how many more potentially could be in challenges. Like you mentioned, yes, it's an anomaly, but you won't know unless you see it. And I don't care what people say. People want not very few people thought Mason was this good. like
Yeah.
immediately, right?
No,
So
100%.
that would be sort of my call out on
Yeah.
that. Okay, so you joined Boston with Zinni, Tej, and Cap after you're on LAG Academy, and you're on Westar at the time as well on Vanguard. This
Yep.
is your first entry into the CDL League, right? This is your dream. Can you give the viewers an insight on, first of all, what that process looked like and the differences between Pro CoD versus Challengers CoD?
Yeah. So the process was um I think it was I think Dens hit me up and messaged me first. He was like, "Yo, I'm
And
gonna
who's
put you in the
Dens?
group." Dens is he was the GM at the time. Denham, he was the GM of Boston. He was like, "Yo, I'm gonna put you in a call with Zen and Zach. Zed, he was a coach for coach in Boston Breach. He was like, we're gonna get a call and discuss like two other players that you guys want to team with, and we decided Teach and Cap. Um, I think we got signed. We were the late team because this is when the league started super late for some reason. Um, I think we got announced in like January or February, but we were scrimming and streaming scrims, all four of us,
Yeah.
without even being announced because we were playing because our mindset and Zen was like, yo, we're scrimming optic and phase like all the time. Let's just scrim and stream it because they weren't streaming. We're like, we'll pull hundreds of thousands of viewers. We're like, all right. But that's how it got brought up for like me actually like the signing process of it is they just reached out and decided the team. What was the other question? Sorry.
So then, what was the differences between challengers or playing
Uh,
against challengers and then the pro league?
um, the difference is actually big because challenger players like they don't I wouldn't say aren't a student of the game, but like they
They're not
aren't
students of
really
the game. Say it for
yeah
what it
they're
is.
not yeah they aren't students of the game of the pro league is. It's not
Yeah.
even close, honestly. Um, because the pros actually like think methodically, like everything they do is for a reason. Well, except like when you black out, but like
When you.
that happens sometimes, you know. But they actually have a reasoning and understanding of the game to like down to a T. Like if I push this, they're gonna spawn here, or like there's a potential flip. That's why this guy needs to be here and block. And challengers is sprint, 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 kill, kill, kill. Call out. You know he's here. Red dot chase, get kills. Win the game.
Yeah.
Pro League, you can't do that. It's not even close. Also a big thing for me was like I didn't realize how terrible my comms were until I actually was on a pro team. Like they would roast me, but like understandably my comms were literally awful.
Yeah.
um and that's probably the biggest and hardest thing to learn. Like I still like 5 years in, I'm still learning like how to calm correctly like in situations, like in situationals. That's
Yeah.
probably still the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing to learn in general, like for any player. um Especially like how aggressive I am too. Like it's literally it's for me
So
it's the
much
hardest
info.
thing
Yeah.
to like push up, try to get a kill, try to get a two piece, flank them, try to call out where I'm spawning them. Can
What
someone
you're
block
doing.
what
Yeah.
I'm doing, what the gap is, what because I'm doing it. Like it's literally and you gotta do that in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's so hard to do, and I'm still learning it to this day. But that's probably like if anything anyone could get better at to try to go pro and this and that, that's probably the biggest thing. Like just comms wise, like actually like put work into it and work on it. Even if like you do it and you're getting slammed some days in scrims, like at least you have a goal to work on it just because you know that's your weakness.
Yeah. So being deliberate about your improvements, and I
Yeah.
completely agree with you. Even for me as a player, even working with challenger players, even just the ability of calming while you're shooting someone,
Yeah.
even the ability to talk through your process and setting up plays, what gaps are open, what you're filling in, what info you getting from your spawn, how you predicting people. These are the things that such a big difference in the pro league compared to challengers, and it makes you feel like if you have all four people doing that, you feel like you're playing radar on. You know what everyone's doing. You know exactly where you're
Yeah.
going, where they're
Yeah.
coming from, timings, all these things. And then to add on to that, I don't know if you also agree with this. I felt like one of the biggest differences with challengers compared to the CDL teams, or at least mid-pack CDL and higher, was their view on the game, looking at it from more of a teamwork macro perspective rather than, as you mentioned, chasing red dots. What
Yeah.
what kill am I getting? How am I setting a teammate up? How am I helping him get the kill? What pressure am I putting on the map? If I die, what is a good death? Am I
Yeah.
doing too much? Am I doing too less? How can we challenge something together? Like, look at it from take the way I describe it is challenges looks at it from a scoreboard perspective. How can I go 46 and 13?
Yeah, 100%.
Rather than how can we win as a team? How can we be efficient as a team?
Yeah, no, I agree because honestly that was that's a bad mindset in
It
challenges, but
is.
that was my mindset. I was like, how can I do the best for myself to put my name out there to go pro?
Yeah.
And I think that's a terrible mindset.
Well,
That's what, well,
my question to you onto that is do you
mhm,
think the format of the CDL promotes that? Because you
it does.
need to have good stats in order to even have coaches looking at you in the first
No,
place, right?
that's also a thing. I completely agree with that too. I think CDL players, they don't, like some of them at least, they don't really care about the win. That's why I think Thieves and Miami and FaZe and Seattle, all of them are like we're ahead because they didn't care about personal KD. All they cared about was winning. I could go 10 of 40, but it doesn't matter as long as I see victory on my screen.
Yeah, being
But some
selfless.
of yeah, you're literally being selfless. But some of these people, like I think Twitter and the flank and all this stuff, they get to their head like, oh wow, I had a .96 and no one's talking about me even though we won. But
Yeah,
like at the end of the day, like it doesn't matter
yeah.
as
And
long as you win.
to your point, brilliant point. I want to use Envoy as an example. Envoy has been he's been winning and still getting a lot of flack from a statistical perspective. But when you
Yeah,
truly dissect Envoy and you dissect Dylan, okay, he's diving in first, he's dragging aim assist of three people away, it
and
sets up
Paco
Paco
is
for a
gonna
get
get
two
two.
piece. Right, he's gonna get two.
Exactly.
And
People
that's how you
don't
set
see
your teammate
that.
up. Right? No one
People don't
sees
see.
that.
Yeah, people don't see that. That's the problem. All I know is that Envoy, he sees I'm back to back,
I'm lifting a
but yeah,
trophy.
people don't see that. People were getting on his ass because he's the worst by the way,
Yeah,
on their team. But like him and Dan complete that team.
yeah,
Like they don't see. I mean, they probably do see it on the line cards that they're the dirty work players, but like they don't see arrow movement. They don't see their like how important their comms are. Um, Yo, Paco, I'm a bait for you.
I'm a
Like they
slide for
don't.
you. Drag aim assist.
Yeah, exactly. Like they don't see that. They only see Envoy has a .92 today. Like what? He won the tournament. Who cares?
I I genuinely think, and this is how I describe you, players like Envoy and Abizi are so impressive because let's say they got to break a full setup. Let's say it's Hassi P2, bro. They've got a full setup from the front. You're spawning at the back, right? This guy Envoy is running to ramp. He's diving, dragging
Yeah,
aims this, and he's somehow getting a
yeah,
kill.
yeah.
When you look at Abizi, this is what I call Abizi. Abizi is Mr. Bailout. I have never seen
Oh,
that boy break so many setups.
yeah,
Not
yes,
just get one, but get two, and break
yeah,
setups on his own.
yeah. That's what that's what makes like Abizi and like Simp so great because Abizi enables Simp so much, and people don't really see it as much. People think, oh yeah, Simp is a great player. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but Abizi enables him so much, it's insane. That's why, um, on like MW2, like that's why me and Reese like worked so well because people didn't see like his comms were great one, but he also baited for me so much because he knew like I could get in there and get two, you know. Like, and people didn't really see that because they thought, oh, Reese is the fastest player in the league. He's also one of the worst because of his hardpoint KD. But people didn't see like how much he enabled it. Same thing with Abizi. Abizi enables Sip so much, and when Abizi's going off, it's raps
Yeah.
because his role is so hard and important for the team. If he's doing good, they're 100 point club teams because like that's just his role.
Hmm. Yep. So you're a mechanically gifted player. We all know this, right? What tips can you give for aspiring pro players, challengers, people in ranked from both a mechanical perspective and then also from like a decision making and strategy perspective for these guys watching? What advice would you give?
Um, I would say you can still do like your mechanical like YY dolphin dive slide, but I would say it's more of like actually learning the game and knowing your timings of what you can push, when you can push it, why you're pushing it, and if you can learn that first, on top with your mechanical talent, same. It's like Shotzi. Like Shotzi, like his mechanical talent, we can say it's probably undisputed the best in the game. But like people don't see probably the work he puts outside the game, like of why he's doing this, why he's doing that. And if you do that on top of your mechanical talent, like that's how you go far and win championships.
Yep. So then, what things that you know now did you wish you knew when you joined Boston?
Mm, I that's a hard question. I would say I wish I knew how to watch VOD properly back then, and actually like knew how to criticize correctly of like what I thought was the right play, and that's how you initiate small talk um amongst like your teammates to try to see like what actual was the right play or like if you agree. I'd probably say I wish I knew that back on Boston.
So then, how do you determine what is considered the most optimal or right play? How do you do that? Where does that come from you?
Um it comes from honestly it comes from like what would I do in this situation? Like I would watch his arrow and be like, hey, that's a great play. Or be like, nah, I should probably cut blue here. That's probably what I would have done. But it's also hard for that because it's also more to watching VOD than watching like arrows, air movement because you gotta know like did I get stagnated? Like did you misread a comm that got you killed and that's why like we got broken. So it's more like just the hearing aspect too. Like going back and be like, damn, I completely didn't hear Kent say he hit well. Like that's on me. Um, so it's more of like that aspect too.
Do you steal things from other teams, even from an individual perspective?
Oh, yeah, 100%. When especially at like the beginning of the year, like type stuff, like when teams are by far, like Carolina, for example, they were the best team by far in protocol.
Yeah.
Or like, what do they do on every hill? How do they want to break it? What's their setup? Like their ideal setup. Um, let's say for like the P2, we saw this for Miami. One guy we call it little crib, but it's like the little computer room,
Hmm.
and then one on time, one either grandma's or like top like the P2 heady, and one low boat. We were like, wow, that's a god setup because we're just gonna keep spawning back 10. So we stole that. So like honestly, that's everything everybody says in life too is losing is learning.
Yeah.
So like that's what like scrims like we stole a bunch of stuff from scrims too. Like wow, this is actually a god play just because we lost off of it. So
Yeah.
like that's the biggest thing too.
I think that's for me. I think that's one of the most fascinating things about COD is because you've just mentioned that we saw that from you guys.
Oh really?
we're like, damn, they got 50 seconds on this. We're gonna try
Yeah,
this, and then it's fascinating how you have like micro meta changes. So, okay, you guys are playing it like this. We know you guys are going to play like this. If we spawned out, we're going to break it like this. And then
yeah,
as the game progresses, it becomes like it changes that a little bit more, and then teams are changing how they're playing and how they're set up, and then they're changing
yeah,
their flow and stuff like that. So I think for
for
me, that's
sure.
a really fascinating thing about what we do.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I didn't even really think about that way, but that's so true. Because we were like, yo, Raincore's gonna be bottom mode, bro. Let's go play for this guy,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. I know you guys got 4 ARs on P1 Skyline. Yo,
Yeah,
pull out 4 ARs, guys.
yeah.
Yeah. So we're like, all right. So we were losing like all our skylines. All right, we're gonna see what Minnesota do, bro. They have 4 ARs in P1. They're the highest average P1 team in the game. Yo, guys, pull out P1s. Yo, you go here. This is our flow.
Yeah.
Yo, refill top guy. We're gonna bump that
Yeah.
out.
I mean, we made it. We got so good at the map only because obviously you put ARs more, but it's more like it's because piano steps wasn't wallbangable anymore. So we're
Yeah,
like, wow, this is an actual. This is the power spot. You want to be here, and then you want to have a guy like we call it top T, like shouldering the
yeah,
hall, so he can't just sprint for the guy piano stairs. So like that's how we got so good.
yep. No, I love that. Okay, so going into Modern Warfare 2, you're still on Boston. You resign, and your team is Zinni, Vivid, and Big Wake.
Yeah, big word.
Give the viewers a rundown of that year.
Um, it was a pretty decent year. Obviously, I got benched at the end of it, but it was still a decent. I would say a pretty good year. We still qualified for champs. Obviously, I didn't play, but that's when Zen retired. I think we got top six and then like a top four, something like that.
Yeah,
And then
I think a third.
hon-
We got a third
honestly,
at one point.
yeah, third, yeah, yeah. It was actually crazy because I don't know. People would say at the beginning of the year, at least for a little bit, we were by far the best team in the game. Um, I would say the M4 meta was really good for us because honest, we had 4 and 4s. We had two
You did.
slow ARs and two fast ARs. I think me and Reese invented the fast like M4 class. And insta next day, yo, we're G and everything. We used attack. We're like, oh, okay. Um, and that's just the beginning. In the beginning of the year, let's say we were good, and then the mid year, like we picked up Beans because Zen retired. We were actually pretty good with Beans too. Beans was really good. The problem with him is that he wanted to snipe every S&D. He thought he was fucking Pomage or something. I don't
Yo, I'm
know.
sniping for a pick, guys.
Yeah,
Same
hotel,
place. He's gone hotel.
hotel.
He's gone P4 hotel, bro. He's trying to snipe top.
He's P4 going sniping top fucking glass, or he's going top glass trying to snipe the P4 down,
Snipe
and
people.
then
That's it.
we were
That's
like,
his
bro,
bag.
we were like, yeah, dude, like you gotta try something else, boss. Like, and then we dropped Reese for some reason, and then we picked up Crimp. I had no say in the Reese drop. I don't. I was so where we lived. There was like a little diner for breakfast, literally two steps from, and that's where I was eating. And then I got the call like, "Yo, where you at? We need you in the apartment." I was like, "Give me 5 minutes, I'll be there." And then everyone was there. We were talking. They said we're picking up Crimp. I said, "Okay." Um, we played with Crimp. We were not the best, but we were decent. And then we went to the LAN. Honestly, the LAN, like people say we got 12th, but like honestly, it was a hard bracket for us because we played Optic that were 5-0,
Yeah.
and then we played a Toronto that was a loser somehow, in that tournament. So it was kind of hard for us to like replicate like how good we were with honestly like a new roster change. It was kind of hard playing a 5-0 Optic that were like godlike online, and then into a Toronto that were obviously like they were good, even though they were losers, they were still good.
Yeah.
So like, and then that 12th, it got me benched because of that because they needed an IRL. So or
Yeah.
not
Ideal.
IRL, IGL. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So Zinni retired that year.
Mm-hmm.
How soon did you know Zinni was retiring?
This was actually crazy because well, he, he wouldn't say anything about retiring. He told us we went out to dinner, and he said, "Yo, um, this was after Skunk retired. Like I think it was a couple of days we went out to dinner. He was like, "Yo, Skunk wants me to go and be on a podcast and watch party with him." And in my head, I was like, "If you don't take that, you're dumb. Like
Yeah.
you were dumb." Um, but he didn't say that he was taking it yet, obviously, because we were still like in the major, still trying to go to the tournament. Because this was like the Boston major, like they were hosting.
Yeah.
Um, it even got brought up of him retiring because Reese got told by a challenger player somehow. I don't know how a challenger player figured it out that Zen was going to retire, and it got brought up, and he was like, "Bro, I don't know, how is that even possible?" Like something like that. Like I don't even know how it even got leaked or like from a challengers player to figure it out that Zen was going to retire
So then
before us.
when did you know then?
Um, I think it was when was it? I think it was like the third game into Major Two, like online qualifier game.
Yeah.
Like before practice one day, like it got brought up, and then like obviously like he didn't really deny it, but he was more like just lock in. You know what I'm saying?
So
Like
then what's practice like knowing the fact that your teammate's going to retire at the major?
honestly, we went harder. I'll be
Mhm.
honest, because we wanted to, I guess, make it special for Zen. Like we'll try to win you one before you go. You know.
Yeah.
So like it was more like we went harder. It wasn't like how people say like when you feel like someone gave up on you, you gave up on them. it was more like he didn't really give up. Honestly, he went harder too, so it made us go harder. Like, cause he knew in his head he was retiring. Like he knew. So
Okay.
like it pushed him harder, pushed us harder.
Yep. Right. So going into your Modern Warfare 3 season, you're now
Mm-hmm.
not on Boston because you've been benched, you've been let go. Now you're on Vegas Legion. This is with Attach, with Purge, and with Standy. Same again. Give us a rundown on how the year went.
Um, I want to even go before the year because the stories were crazy. I had like 3, 4 teams hit me up. Thieves were one of them. It's crazy because they instantly hit me up after champs. Obviously they went a different direction. I'm not mad. I have nothing against anybody. It's just the way business and the way everything goes. But honestly, I wasn't even supposed to be on a team in W3. I got lucky. It was more of like Mac because Mac's mom had breast cancer.
Wow.
Um, so he stepped away. It was actually supposed to be Mac, but they ended up getting me instead because Mac was like, "Sorry, like I can't." So I'm thankful for Mac. And that aspect, obviously, like it's not his fault that his mom got breast cancer, had to
Yeah.
like drop down. So like, I'm glad that she recovered and all that. But as I said, I got blessed with that MW3 year. Um, it was crazy to say the least. We choked so bad every every series we could have done. We choked. I think we got reverse swept like 4 times that year, two in one stage. We got reverse swept by Carolina and then Optic. So that could have been 20 points leading the champs. We choked Major One against LAG, got reverse swept on land.
Yeah.
Um, that could have been a top 6 eventually, or like, and then next year or next stage, that's when we picked up Geo. We were actually pretty good with Geo,
Yeah.
like Geo and Evan. Evan actually brought a lot. People didn't really. I try to like give him gas. Even I even give him like he's been good. He's been good for Boston too. He is more like he's a mechanical and he's more like a methodical player like for the team. He's very selfish, or
Very
not
vocal.
selfish, selfless. He's very selfless. He's very vocal. Like he was honestly our IGL like as a sub, which is crazy. He is very vocal, like very in depth into the game.
Mm.
I think that was we kind of that's why Major One. I think he was so bad. Um, we honestly, I think he was trying to do too much, and it made him like space out and not be able to do his game.
Yeah.
Um,
When he's
that's
too
why.
selfless.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was literally too selfless. I think it's because like the social media got to him, seeing like his KD, and he was like, "Damn, I actually need to do something for the team." So like he started defaulting to the hill and started taking bomb and started doing this and that. And it kind of got to his head. And so that's why switching. I think switching to a sub honestly made him like really good. And people didn't really see that. They just look at stats.
Yeah.
But and then I think did we make it? Oh yeah, we made a change mid major 3. Was it major 4? I honestly don't even really remember because we picked up ASIM
I think that was
for
3. That
Evan.
was for a couple games, wasn't it?
Oh
Two.
yeah, because yeah, we did. It was 3. We picked up ASIM, and then I'm not gonna get into that.
Yeah.
I love you, ASIM, by the way.
Okay.
Don't get that straight.
We're not going to get into that. So let's fast forward to the end of the season.
Yeah.
Now, when did you find out that the Falcons were looking at taking the spot? How much did you know when you found out? How did you deal with that?
Um. Honestly, it didn't really affect me at all because I wasn't on it. So my contract ended with them right after we didn't make champs, and we signed like a little thing for EWC, but I didn't get like we didn't get paid for any of like for like the month of like scrimming for EWC. So like I technically was under contract, so it had nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Well, I personally didn't figure out until at the end of EWC, like right like when we lost to Carolina. Like McGee was like, yeah, we're getting don't tell anyone, but we're getting bought by Falcons. Like, oh, okay, I won't tell anyone.
Yeah,
So like, it honestly didn't affect me. It affected more of like him because he was still under contract with him for like coaching.
yeah,
But for me, honestly, it didn't really. I just knew about it, but personally, it didn't affect me at all.
yep. So you've been on Vegas, pre-Falcons, you've been on Boston, and you've been on G2.
Hmm.
Are there any big differences from an organizational perspective with the three?
Um, not really. I would say honestly, Boston, like they're probably the best org I've been under, just the way they treat their players. Um, no shade to G2 or anything like
Yeah,
at all, because they treat their players great too. They we have a team house, so I don't got to pay for rent in G2. So I love them for that. We're in Texas, love
yeah.
them for that. But Boston, like they just had like I think it's because they were brand new to the scene, so they wanted to treat their players like royalty. Like
Yeah.
we gotta treat it like royalty. Like dinners all the time.
So that's where the
Like
budget
whatever.
went.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, technically, yeah, because we all got paid pretty well. So
Mhm.
I would say, like in that aspect too, like they actually threw out money.
Yeah. So let me ask you, what's it like living in a team house? So you're in a team house with G2 for this year.
Hmm.
What was it like? What were the benefits? What were the negatives?
Um, I wouldn't say really no negatives other than I guess like sometimes someone doesn't take out the trash. I guess. But the positive is like our bonding is insane. Like this is by far like probably the best and like the funniest team I've been around only because of like the team house because like I get to see everything.
Yeah.
We all get to hang out. Like it's like we're best friends. We literally all hang out, and we also have a movie theater in the house, so we get
Wow.
so we watch movies and stuff in there. So like that's also a team bonding. Like, hey, yo, I just want to go watch a movie. Like, all right, let's go watch
VODs,
Sinners or something.
the VOD session
Or
is
VODs. Yeah,
crazy on that. Wow.
that's where we watch our VODs. We watch VOD every morning. Um, so like that's it. Like the bonding there too.
Okay.
So it's like,
So let's move on. Now, I want to use your Vegas year as an example. When you're not performing as well as you should, we both know the community is going to be on your ass, right?
yeah.
What advice can you give to me? What advice can you give to aspiring players out there in order to deal with the pressure, the burnout, and staying mentally sharp?
Um, I honestly personally don't really look at social media like that as even as like a pro as much. Like people, I don't personally even look at Twitter that much. Only time I look at Twitter is when I'm gonna stream. I got tweeted out. I got to retweet a G2 thing or I'm tweeting GGs.
Yeah,
Other than that, I really don't do anything. I know Reddit's the biggest thing. I don't go on Reddit. Reddit's probably the worst thing you can get on. I just think people are just too like what I don't really know how to explain it. Like people actually just want to see what other people
too
say about them.
involved. Yeah,
Yes, yeah, they see too involved. Like me, I just live a carefree life. Honestly, really don't get into the dirt of all that stuff. I would say, um, just people just have a different mentality. I guess my mentality is like, I really don't care what you say. Like you're watching me play.
yeah,
Um, like I made it. I know what it takes to stay here. I know what it takes to be great. Like I know what it takes to try to be the best me of all time possible. And so sometimes people have bad days,
yeah,
like even in matches. Like it's impossible to be 100% every single day, every single match. It's impossible. It's literally impossible.
yeah. 100%. I agree with you. Coming into the league, obviously that was my first time in any professional environment. That was one of the biggest things that I struggled with because you try and take every comment to heart. You take it as like a personal jab at you. Oh, this person's saying this to me. Well, that must mean it's really true or whatever. And to your point, that's the biggest thing that's helped me is just getting off it, just not even reading it,
Yeah,
looking at it, not on Reddit, not on
no
Twitter.
point.
It's
There's
just
literally there's literally no point. It's literally hell. Like,
Yeah.
like I
No
can't, I, I,
positivity.
I can't take this guy serious when I scroll over his name and he says 500 followers and or 500 following and 3 followers. Like, I can't take you serious, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
are you even a real person? Are you not Grok or whatever? Like,
No, it's true, and I think the biggest thing that helped me also was the fact that everyone thinks they can do what you do better than what you can do,
yeah.
right? So just ignore it. I'm gonna press X on my Twitter, uninstall. I'm gonna look
Yeah.
outside, carry on with my day.
Beautiful day.
Beautiful day, yeah. Okay, so you've got a girlfriend, and I believe you have been in a relationship for a couple of years.
Yeah, four
How
years.
4 years. Wow. How do you balance your personal relationships with her, your relationship with your family, and chasing and being obsessed with winning?
Um, I got lucky with my girlfriend too. Because she was like, at the end of the day, it's your dream over me. At the end of the day,
Wow.
so like she was like, whatever you got to do to try to be the best, win championships, I'll be in your life after all this. Um, so I got lucky in that aspect with her. Um, with my family, it's kind of hard because I really don't see them as much. I text them. I call my mom every once in a while. But other than that, it's just hard to because I only see them on
Yeah.
Christmas and that's about it.
Oh, yeah.
But other than
Sometimes
like
in the off season.
yeah, other than when I
Yeah.
go back like now for the off season, obviously because I didn't make champs, I have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So I
No.
just came back to hang and chill. But so saying she understands that at the end of the day, like um it's my dream over her. Like
Yeah.
she wants me to accomplish what I want to accomplish in this life before me and her have like get married or like have like settle down together.
Yeah. So a follow up on that. I want you to show some vulnerability to people who are watching who want to do what you do. What are some of the harsh realities and warnings that you would give people who want to be you?
Mm, harsh. I would say the harsh reality is I would even say like I guess for COD in general, be ready to fail because it's honestly if you can accept failure, you can accept a lot of things in life. Um, that's probably the biggest thing. I would say also give it a cutoff time, like personally, because for me, I was gonna give it a cutoff time of a year.
Yeah.
If I didn't make it in a year or 2 years, I was done. I was gonna go make some money for my mom, some
Mhm.
way, somehow, do college, whatever. But now it's kind of easier because I have college COD. But if you go to college COD, realistically, you ain't gonna go pro. That's the realistically like
Trade off.
that trade off. Like
Yeah.
you want an education, then actually do something. Not do something, but like have a life, I guess.
Yeah.
Other than sit here and rot, no job, play challengers, hoping for the best that you make it. Especially if you're honestly not like the next best thing, or if you're too old, it's kind of hard to. I would say like 23 or 24, if you're still in challengers, honestly might be the cutoff range, to be honest, of trying to go pro. That's probably the harshest reality is that
Yeah.
there's people still trying to get it, but they're old. Like they have nothing else other than COD or know nothing else in COD. That's probably the hardest reality,
Yeah.
like reality check. I would say now though, just go to college and play COD. Like that's probably the biggest thing. Like after a couple years of trying, like say if you're new, um, a year or two, if your family supports it,
Yeah.
obviously,
All
give it then.
circumstantial. Yeah.
Yeah, or circumstances like you have enough money to support yourself and all that stuff without working. Like I said, you can give your all in this, and but then after that, you got to be realistic. Go to college and do it. Play COD, or honestly, you can still probably you can get a job and play it, but realistically, just know that at the end of the day, um, anything can happen.
Yeah. Absolutely. Nothing is assured in this life. You can't
Yeah,
tell the
I'm
future, right? So, yeah. Okay. Final segment before we go into a couple of questions. Is COD dying?
I hate to say it. I hate to say it. I think it is
Why?
only because of the hackers. I'll be so honest. The hackers are ruining COD. I can't even get on and play rank play. I can't even play the game I love. I
Yeah.
can't even play pubs. I can't play Warzone. I can't play ranked. I gotta play Splitgate too. Like I literally gotta play a different game to have like be enjoyable of what I'm doing. Like to
Yeah.
enjoy something, to feel joy, and not oh my god, I'm playing a 360 game modern shooter. Like, are we serious?
And you don't know if anyone's soft hacking either,
Yeah, and you
right?
don't even know anymore. I could be playing someone else and they have D2 radar in the top left of their screen for all
Yeah.
I know. Like that's literally the hardest part. I think personally, that's why I think COD's dying is only because of the hackers. No one wants to play the game anymore. Like,
Yeah.
why would I play the game if I'm gonna get on and get hacked on every single day, every single game? Like, there's no point in me playing the game. I'd rather go play Splitgate 2. I'd rather go play Battlefield. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nobody wants to play Battlefield. That's how bad it is.
I know.
Okay, 3 questions
Okay.
from some people on Twitter. Who is your true Pookie Wookie bear?
Kush.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say Kush. He always wants that. Shout out Kush, man. I
Okay.
love that
Favorite karaoke song?
guy. Mr. Brightside.
Everyone says that. Come on, Dill. Everyone says that.
Me, it's probably honestly "Take It Off" by Kesha. That's probably one of my favorite songs of all time, to be honest.
Okay.
Or I don't even think I have another one. Or "Meet Me Halfway" by Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
That's another one, too.
Yeah. I fuck with that. I fuck with that.
That's one of my favorite songs too.
What are your guilty pleasures or hobbies in life?
Honestly, I found a new hobby, bowling. People make fun of me for that. Bowling's actually so fun. I ain't gonna lie. I've been watching a bunch of bowling videos. Belmo's the goat. I bowl two-handed, so I try to like. I've been watching YouTube videos trying to learn from him. That's probably my new like hobby is bowling.
Bowling.
Like I only play video games, so like honestly really don't know. That's like my life. I either play video games or I watch Twitch streams or.
You don't spend your money on stupid things?
No,
Pokemon
I learned my
cards
lesson.
and stuff like that?
No, I save
Yep.
my money. I learned my lesson on buying stupid shit.
Well, that was my next question is what did you spend your first paycheck on? What was the first actually, what was the first stupid thing you bought and what was the first thing you spent your paycheck on? Your first ever
Both,
paycheck.
both. Save answer. Gucci book bag.
Everyone does that.
Well, it's because Boston was a month late on my paycheck, so they gave me into a big lump.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna go buy a Gucci book bag. I always wanted one. Worst purchase of my life. Don't ever buy that shit. That shit is the worst shit.
Financial advice. Here we go, guys. I just want to say thank you very much, Dill, for doing the podcast. Thank you very much, Breaking Point, for giving us the ability to do that. Before we wrap it up, quick plug. If you guys want one-to-one coaching, consultations, courses, go to dero.co.uk. Any final shout-outs, anything you want to say to the viewers who are getting to know you during this podcast, Dill?
I just thank you for having me on. I wanted to get my my name out there more because
Yeah.
people one thing I do see from Twitter that everyone wants to just know more of me, so I was excited that and happy that you reached out so I can try to have my personality out there more. But shout out my org, shout out you, shout out Gigi Breaking Point, shout out my mom, love you, shout out my dad. That's about it.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you having me on.
We'll see you on the next episode, guys. Take it easy.